Hey folks, thanks for joining in. We have some more folks joining us in. We would start another couple of minutes. Meanwhile, do you want to just punch in where you're dialing in from today? Your name, the company, and where you're dialing in from today. So probably I would start. My name is Arvind. I work in ShopOS and I'm calling in from Bangalore. You can just put it in chat. Would love to know where folks from different parts of the world are joining in today. And it's good to see some faces and camera on. If you can get the camera on, it's always good to interact with people to try and see who's actually attending. Energy kind of rubs off. Nice. Hey, Vikas. Nice. Stealth mode. Guys, go ahead, drop your details on the chat. Nice. Hey, Jagdish. Nice. Coffee works. Ahmedabad. Superb. As we speak, we have more folks joining in. We're inching close to 30 people. Thank you so much for taking the time out on a weekday to join in. So, quick introduction. Allow me to get started. My name is Arvind. I'm building ShopWise along with the wonderful gents that I see over here. Essentially, what we're trying to build is a AI plus a human layer for all the D2C brands at the moment. And the topic that we're going to be talking about today is, if you can go one slide before. Yeah, perfect. The topic that we're going to be talking on today is content on autopilot. I'm sure, right? Us working in some form or capacity in a D2C world, content drives every touch point of us, be it what we see on social media, be it what we see on our performance marketing ads. When you land on a website, right, it's the content which kind of drives a user through conversion. And we have done all the hoops and jumps in order to get to a place where you build the content, get it out to public, and try and drive a conversion out there. But again, in today's day and age, I think enough trumpet has been beaten about how content can be generated by this AI. This can do a better job, that can do a better job. The idea over here is to try and educate together as a team on how you can generate your content on autopilot. Vedant, the next slide. Perfect. All thinking we all know AI is a tool. AI can do this. AI can do that. It's great. But the point is, everyone gives an input and AI gives an output. That's in essence of what all of us know, right? We've done this in the past. We've done this over here. But the idea is, what if an agent is like your team member who has over there and who has a context about your brand, about who you are and what you're doing, right? That's what we're going to be covering in today. Don't think of it as a tool, think of it as a salaried employee who has enough context about your brand, whether you are calling from Bombay or from Bangalore or from Ahmedabad. It has a context of what you're trying to do. Perfect. Great. So on to the next slide, Vedant. What we would be covering today is Shopify has launched a new thing called Shopify AI Toolkit. Not sure if many of you saw what it is. It's actually made a lot of our lives easier. We use Shopify day in and day out. I'm sure all of you had some form of capacity have used it. But the point is, how seamlessly can you connect that to your favorite AI tool? Shopify unlocked this earlier this month, and we as an AI team couldn't be much more excited about it. In fact, we had a previous workshop with a certain set of audience where we actually spoke about how can you connect your Shopify store to your dream AI platform and achieve the outcomes. Let's say if Jagdish in ShopBrew wants to use a set of brands that he has where he uses a Shopify, but he loves Claude. Making these two systems talk to each other was much harder before Shopify AI Toolkit. But now that problem is solved. In fact, this link is over here. Happy to share the recording from this workshop where you can actually take a look at how this can help streamline your work. Go back to the agenda. Perfect. Idea is we'll give a small recap on how Shopify AI Toolkit works. We can explore how it can help you scale different activities and then come back to the topic of, okay, now that you have an infra setup, How can you create content? With AI, how are things done in the old school way? How are things done in a current world and the current ecosystem? And how can we set up this workflow for your particular brand? That's the whole agenda of what we're going to be having. On to the next slide. Uh, Roping in our rockstar developer, Adarsh, would be giving us a small brief on how to connect your Shopify store to the Shopify favorite platform, let's say like Claude, OpenAI, so on and so forth. A simple connector using that AI toolkit. Adarsh, floor is yours.
Thank you, Irvin. Let me go ahead, share my screen. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, based on where you're joining from. So, if you were there with us on our first workshop, I'm sure you might have seen like how we connected our Shopify store with our Cloud Code or our choice of AI agent. And we'll just do a quick recap and then we'll start off where we left. So firstly, we started with exploring how you set up Cloud Code, and you can use your own choice of AI agent. It could be Cloud Code, it could be Cursor, or it could be Codex as well, whatever you prefer, whatever you use today. We saw how you can set it up on your machine. Then, as Irvin was talking about Shopify AI Toolkit, in the last session, we saw how to install the Shopify AI Toolkit with your Cloud Code. You just go onto the Shopify AI Toolkit website over here. You have a couple of commands here which you can copy and give it to Claude, and that is it. It handles the rest for you. So we have all of these resources with us packed together. We'll share all of it in case you missed the first workshop. But here is where we start. We set up our Shopify AI toolkit with Claude Code, and then we just go ahead, talk to Claude, and get things moving. So for using Shopify AI toolkit, we need something called as Shopify CLI. Again, this is something which Claude will help you sort it out. So all you have to do is go back to your Claude sessions. So this is where we left off last time, and we are continuing from here. I'll just ask it to check Shopify status. As simple as that. Now, if your Shopify AI toolkit is set up, it will go ahead and check if you have everything required to do this. It will check if your AI toolkit is ready. If it will check if your Shopify CLI is set up. If not, it will just go ahead and guide you to set up the same. So you can just follow the guide. It will be a plain English. You just have to instruct Claude to do it or to not do it. It'll ask you for a bunch of permissions, and you should be good to go from there to start chatting with your store. So I've asked it to give me the status of my current store, which is connected. It is going to run a few commands. It is going to verify if my Shopify CLI is set up, what store is connected. If it is not, it will guide me to connect my store as well. So let's just wait for the output over here. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions at any point, please feel free to drop it in the messages. We'll keep taking the questions. So everyone is like aligned on where we are. So you see, it returned the Shopify status. It told me that a store is connected, Anahata Organic. It gave me the domain of the store, what country it is from, and more details about the same. Now, what's the goal for today is to figure out the content generation pipeline. And I already have my Shopify store connected. So what we'll do is we'll ask Claude to find problems on our store, and then we'll try to fix them with our content generation pipeline. So I'm going to simply go ahead and ask it to run a live content audit on my store. Let me know if this is visible. If it is not, I'll just go ahead and zoom in a bit so everything is clear to you, whatever I'm typing here. I'll ask it to run a live content audit on my store and pull actual product data and tell me which PDPs have weakest imagery and SEO setup, let's say. And as this is a live store and we have like more than 200 products on the store, so what we'll do is, to make this quick, I will ask it to give me the top three. So give me top three from that. I'll go ahead and I'll ask it to do it. It will run a few queries. It will scan through my store and it will tell me which products are lacking the imagery, so we can improve on those. So we'll let it run the bunch of commands. If it asks you for permission, you can go ahead and read it, approve it if you would like. Let's wait for it to finish. Okay, so it's asking for a bunch of permissions so it can read the data from our connected store. Okay, so here we have our results. Let me just zoom in a bit more. So yeah, it says it pulled my catalog. It ran a content quality pass against the benchmarks, and here are my top three weakest PDPs. We have the coconut oil, we have a Nirvani skin healing face wash, and we have a raw wild honey. So what we do from here is, because we know that the imagery is weak for this, we have Vedant here with us, who is going to show us how we can improve the imagery for the same, and we will generate new imagery for these particular products and go ahead and publish them using our Shopify AI toolkit. Over to you, Vedant.
Yes, thank you, Adarsh. Yes, let's get to the interesting part now, which is actually generating some images. And before I pull up my screen and start sharing, I want to ask a couple of questions. How many of you have actually tried generating content with AI? Let's see. Okay. Are there any comments? Let me.
Yeah, actually would love
Yeah,
to.
a bunch of folks. And let me ask you this. How many of you have found yourself opening five or six tools at one point and just jumbling over Gemini or Hixfield to get the content right? Always, right? Okay. So the three things that I want to cover here. First, what is the old process of generating images with AI? Because everyone is doing it and it has cut down the time exponentially. There's no questioning that. But it is fundamentally still broken, and I'll get to it. And how can we make that better in the next 20 minutes? So, okay, let's take the brand that we were talking about just now, which is, I have it open right here. So I've taken a couple of product images, and first I want to do a generation comparison between how this would work in ShopOS and how it would work in Gemini. Now, let's go to Gemini first. I've put in my image here. Let me write a very simple prompt saying, let's create an image. Help me create a studio shot for my product. Now, while that happens, I want to talk about why this way of creating is not scalable. Now, there are a bunch of tools that we have. We have Gemini, we have ChatGPT, we have a bunch of models that work great. But the problem is, these are all one off models. When you're working for e commerce, it's not one product that you want, it's not one image that I want. I want a catalog image, I want a PDP image, I want a lifestyle image, I want to generate some videos for my socials. So let's say I have a brand. Let's take this brand, for example, and it's a pretty good generation. Let's do another one. But before that, let's take this brand, for example. It's a wellness brand, and the amount of products that it offers is a lot. There's a lot of beauty, face wash, body care, there's food items. So even if you take 10 products and start giving prompts to Gemini or Higgs fields, that is to generate, let's say, three variations of each product. That is 30 prompts that you have to keep giving. So what does not work with this is, first, it is a lot of manual work. Nothing here is automated. Second, you do not have a one system talking to each other. Every time you have to either go to Gemini for product images, you have to go to Hixfield to generate videos. There's a lot of back and forth. And second, you always have to fight for credits. It is an impossible fight to win. And none of the generations are always consistent. Even if you get the prompt right, you get the reference image right, the generations, you cannot scale it. You have to every time go back and keep on creating. Now, before we move further, let's come to ShopOS and talk about something called spaces. Now, let me give you a very brief idea about what spaces are, and then we'll deep a little deeper about how do we create spaces. So spaces are workflows which are built for your brand. So let's say I have a brand here, which I already have a product, right? So these are a bunch of workflows which are specializing in these sort of things. Let's say this workflow enhances the skin. These are good for jewelry photo shoot. We'll take one which is lifestyle product. So let's go here. I'll upload my product, the same product that I gave to Gemini. Okay, continue. We have a bunch of templates to work with. Now, what does templates do and how does templates get into picture? The models like OpenAI Image 2 model or Nano Banana, they're very good at addressing the visual images. So you can pass your own product, add a visual reference to it, which kind of acts like a template and a prompt. So I'll select, let's say this, and then I go ahead and generate. Now, while it is generating, let's go back here and see. We've talked about workflows and why does the workflows work? A couple of reasons. First, we have a different models. Now, to use every model, you have to go to a different interface, right? You have to make sure that you understand the interface first. You have to fight for credits. You cannot scale it. That's where we come into picture. That's where workflows can scale it. Now, while this look, yeah, we have a couple of generations right here, and these looks pretty nice. These are pretty good. What do you think, Arvind?
Spot on.
Spot on, right? Okay. So should we go a little? Do you guys have any questions? Because the next part is going to be a little bit daunting, I feel.
Well, if you say like that, then I would get down to it. But no, I'm curious. What is the major difference between Gemini and ShopOS, or what have you generated out here, right? Essentially, everything is a beauty and wellness brand. And I can just get this done via GPT-2, Gemini, because by the time you and I are speaking, there's a new model that's getting launched. So,
Correct.
what is it, right? If you can actually double click.
Oh,
Vikas
okay.
has a question also. Is Space a ShopOS proprietary tool over there? So yeah, a bunch of all these questions together. Can you pop the hood and tell what is behind the scenes?
Okay. So let's create a simple workflow. Let's take any brand, let's name it test and create a workflow. Okay. So, okay, guys, feel free to stop me anywhere if it's getting way too complicated for you. But let's understand what goes into creating an image for you, right? So we have something called nodes here. So you can add a bunch of nodes. We'll not worry about all the nodes right now, but let's think about what are the things that are required to generate an image. The first thing that you need is an input image, that is your product, right? So here I have a shoe brand with me, which is Gully Labs. So let me drop that here. So let's say this is my input image. Perfect. Now, in what setting, what is the template that I want? So let's go to Pinterest. Let's search for sneaker ads. Or you can go to Meta ad library and search for ads which are working very well for any category and take them up. So, okay, let's see. I like this one. So let me just save this template one. I come back here. Now I'll add another node called image upload and upload the template here. This is my template that we selected, added it here. Now I have my input image. I have the vibe that I want this image to be in, right? Now what I need a prompt to go with it. So let's add a prompt node here. What would I add in the prompt? Let's keep the prompt very simple. I have a prompt right here. Let's see. The prompt says image 1 shows the product, image 2 is the reference. Recreate product from image 1 using the visual style and lighting of image 2. Keep the product color, logo stitching, silhouette exactly the same. So essentially what the prompt is doing is letting the model know that this first image would be your product, the second would be your template. Like this is the vibe that you want to recreate. And you add certain guardrails to your prompt that do not hallucinate with the product logo, stitches, the styling, and everything. And then this is where the moat is. You need to generate an image. So you have a node called generate an image. Now, when I add this, and I'm going to add two nodes here, and I'll tell you in a minute why. So when I select this, you see something called model. So you have access to all image models right here too. So to answer your question, Erwin, if a next model drops, we'll just add it here. So you do not need to get another subscription. So you don't carry 10 subscription, 10 credit limits, 10 interfaces. You have everything right here. And let's do a comparison right now. Let's use Gemini 2.5 for one, and let's use OpenAI Image 2 for one. And what do? You have to add another input node here. So you connect the prompt right here. Image 1 is your product, and image 2 is your reference image. With me so far, guys? Okay, let me just connect this right here. Great. And now I'm going to run this. So we get to see two models, compare them side by side. And why do I think that this can scale? First of all, what I'm showing is like barely touching the surface with this tool. We can do a lot more extensive workflows. As you can see, I've created few workflows here, which for the brand, this was my input product. These are a couple of references that I have used here. As you can see, the three references in which I want, and I have added prompts to it. So to break it down, what we are doing here is when you're creating workflows or we create workflows for your brand, I can go very specific to either a category, a niche product, or just a overall brand. So here I've just taken honey as references, and my prompt is very much in regard to that honey product. And then you can see some of the outputs right here. And this is very scalable because next time I want to add any other product, I don't have to change a lot. For example, if you see this particular workflow, these are two of my input images and these are my references. Now with the same set of three references, I'm able to generate a set of six images with those two different products right there. And you can go on and keep on adding as many nodes as possible, try different models to get the right variation. Let's come back here while it's loading. And these are, while it's still running, I want to showcase one last flow that we've created here. This is specially for a video mode. Now, what was the process in creating it? I've added a prompt. The prompt is basically a script, the script of everything that I want in my video. And I've created with GPT an image, which is basically my storyboard. And now I'm passing the prompt and the image through Gemini to refine that prompt and then to Seedance to create the video. And you can see the output right here. And this was created in less than 5 minutes. So you can see the amount of creation and the automation you can add with it. Let's see if this is, oh, we've got, you see, there's a certain hallucination here. GPT has removed the person from it. Here, there have been two images. So what do you need to do here? You need to make sure that your prompts add those negative values so that they cut stuff down. If I do that, so I need to get it right one time. Once I'm there, I can just keep on replacing the image right here and keep on generating a bunch of other stuff. Let's try with another uh, reference image. Let's try this one. Let's save image, template 2. And here I've just used a very simple prompt. As you can see on my other workflows, the prompts are much more refined. Now, what do you need to do? Create that refined prompt is just go to ChatGPT, ask them to set certain guardrails as to not hallucinate with the product, give you a reference image so that it also gives an overview there of what the reference image is and how to go about it. Let's just replace this and try with a simpler one and see if we can get that here. and let's run. Great. Can't see the comments. Let's see. While this is loading, we can ask a couple of questions.
Yes, Vedant, hi. I have a question. I'm Shalin.
Yes, yes.
So one thing, the major, I would say, the restriction of AI models that I faced. So basically, what my brand, what we do is basically we sell mocha pots. Now, mocha pot is a instrument. It has its own size versus a human. Let's say now, with all the AI image generators that we have tried, what it does, it creates a very absolutely good image, but then good picture, but then the size, the proportions are not right. It's almost as the size of the equipment is almost as half a human, as big as half a human, you know. So how does this control that? Is like, how do you manage that part with ShopOS, or whatever you are doing,
Got
like,
it. So basically, the product dimensions are getting wrong, right?
yes.
Okay.
Can I,
Uh,
can I answer that?
sure.
Yes,
So,
please.
yes, Shalin. So, there are two things to it, right? First is generation of a creative. Why are you generating the creative for? That could be either for a meta ad or a website product catalog or a mobile
Right.
app you want to have it over there or a social media stuff that you have. In
Yeah.
most of the use cases, right? There could be other edge cases also, but I'm talking about these four use cases. Uh, Performance marketing, social media, website, and mobile app. Now, let's say if I have these four, there are already predefined aspect ratio for all of this. Now, you can give that aspect ratio on your prompt over here specifically for
Okay.
it, and then you can generate the output. Because यहाँ पे basically what we're doing is we're not just using one model, you're using multiple model. I'm using Gemini GPT. In the prompt itself, I can give that specific aspect ratio. One fact is the system is actually smart enough. If you mention, I am going to use it for Instagram post. So automatically it will generate something for that Instagram post itself, right? You are kind of predefined it over there itself. Now this is one way in which you could do it.
Hmm. So I've tried that. I've tried putting in even, let's say, size, random proportion, that if a human is there standing, maybe make the mocha pot size maybe 25% of that, or things like that also. But then it still messes that up. Like, it's still not correct. So that makes me
Yeah.
think that, maybe I can get that done with a designer rather than
Ah,
getting it done with AI.
correct. Now, if you see in the screen that Vedant is sharing, right, we have tried to solve for it. You see on the right hand side, there's something which says aspect ratio. Yeah. Now you click on the drop down over here. Now these are something that is predefined already. Can you mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. So these are some predefined aspect ratios that is used across website, Instagram handle, meta ad, and stuff. So anything, if you have a custom dimension, do let us know, and we should be able to do it. Perfect. I hope that is answered. Any other question anyone else has? Please drop it on the chat. Happy to pick it up. But yeah, back to you, Vedant.
Yes. So you can also see here, you can compare different models and see which model is working best with your prompts. Here, GPT-2 has just done a wonderful job in replicating, whereas Gemini has not done such a wonderful job here. It has actually created the same thing with a different background. So these are a couple of ways that you can play around with the workflows. So I think the ending note, what I want you to leave here with is there are a bunch of tools out there, but those are catering to a much wider audience. Whereas in e-commerce, you need one product with multiple images for that same product. You need catalog images, you need lifestyle PDP videos, and you need to create workflows in a way that it should be scalable every time I do that. For example, here, this is a very, very surface level workflow. You can actually go very detailed in it, but if I have to generate the same image for a different product, I just need to replace my product here and it will generate the same image wonderfully. I think that's it from my side. Maybe we can open the floor for questions or talk about anything specific to ShopOS, any features or anything like that?
I'm gonna read out some questions that's out there. First is Charlene is there. He said, "Can you try it with any kitchen equipment with a human using it? The purpose could be a meta ad creative." Do you want to walk about the process in which how we could do this? Charlene's question.
Got it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, let's just try one. We'll create a new workflow. S2. It's quite simple. So the first thing we need is an input image, right? So let's just get some kitchenware right here. Let's take maybe bowls. Hmm. uh, Anything you guys like?
Yeah, please give your suggestions if you feel any image resonates. Or Shalin, maybe you can guide us as well.
Yeah, give a product URL or you have anything.
Yeah. That would
Even
also
better.
work.
We
Yeah.
can, yeah. We can, if anyone wants something to be built out for your store, maybe drop your links on the chat. We'll pick up maybe one or two and try and see how we can double down on this.
Get a more simpler image here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this would work. So let's just copy this image, come here, drop it. Great. Now the second thing we want is a reference, a template, right? So let's add this here, and we want a template with a human in it. Well, human, let's see if I find something right here. I think this would work. Right, let's just copy this, paste it right here. Perfect. Now you can, go a little more extra and add a particular model here as well, so that the model is also in sync with your prompts. You just have to mention that image 3 is what the model is, and you move on from here. But for the sake of simplicity, let's just have to, and I'll add a prompt. Let's copy this and modify it further. Image 1 shows the product, image 2 is the reference. When using the visual. There's no logo, so color, texture, and select item. Manage the mood, background composition. Perfect. Let's add a generate image. Generate image. Okay, let's do a GPT-2 as well. Add another node. While that's happening, I hope you guys are understanding the anatomy of creating anything is basically anything that you specify has to be in your prompt. You need to give your product image and a template with along with it. So if you see in ShopOS as well, how the spaces was working was there were 3 steps. First was you input your image and then you were able to select a product. Let's say I'm just adding a random image for now. Let's say I go ahead with this. Now here you have a bunch of templates to select with since it was a garment brand and I've uploaded a shoe. But you see you have a bunch of templates to fix with because we also send that reference image there so that the model knows exactly what to create. Here you also have the ability to choose the model right from the library. Here we have an extensive library of models, a bunch of backgrounds right here and poses. So I can go really deep and create here. Actually, you know what? Let's create a workflow here as well. We'll go to spaces. Let's do garment. Any garment brands in the house? No? Okay, let me just take a sim. Let's do a dress. Let's do this one to save image. Now I get to select a template. Let's do, I think, something like this. Now I can also go ahead and select a bunch of characters. Let's do female. This one is okay, confirm. And I think the template has a post, so I don't want to conflict that there. Let's just hit generate. And let's go back and see how the workflow has been doing. And it has created, but there's the no model here. So let's change the prompt here. Include the person in the image. Okay, I've modified the prompt and let's do a run again. Meanwhile, this is also loading.
Again, while this is happening, this workflow, if you think this is a little intimidating, we are not just an AI agent company. We are AI plus human company. We can actually work with you and try and set this up flow where honestly you don't need to worry about what is there behind the scene. Like how we showed a brand called Anhata Organics. The workflow is all set up. All set up once, then you can go to the dashboard, you can start generating on the own. So yeah, we are happy to help set that up also for you folks based on very particular use case, like how Rajat wanted text to video. Let's say if Shalin wants a mocha pot in a respective aspect ratio, or Rohit wants something in his menswear category, right? We can set up those workflows and all. You don't need to worry about behind the scenes part. You can just look at the front end and then take it out live.
There you go. I think the image from image GPT image 2 is just way too natural compared to Gemini. But yes, let's see, something has been cooking up here as well. I think it's gonna take a minute. Yeah. But you can see the amount of combinations that you can do here is almost sky is the limit if you want to, go here and get to building your own workflows. These are a bunch of things that we've created for the brand. I forgot what input did I give. Let's just compare once. I think this was this dress, and it has done a pretty good job. And apart from it, even in the tool, if you feel like something is off, you can always go to this refine, where you can, of course, refine it with AI. But what Arvind was saying, that if it is not happening with, AI, you can just add any comment like change the background, and you can refine with human, so that once you refine with human, we have a dedicated PS team, and it goes to the tracker and they return to you in less than 12 to 24 hours with the product right there for you. Yes, that's it from my side.
Awesome. Again, like you mentioned, we've dropped a Calendly link over there. One time we can just work and just set this up for you. After that, every morning you wake up, right? You wake up to content which is on autopilot. This is in essence of what we are trying to build, what we're trying to scale out for you and for your brand. Gone are the days that you need to struggle between multiple tabs and multiple people to get your content out. Again, we're not saying just use AI, it's AI plus human to get your stuff working. And again, it's why use one model when you can use all of them together. So that's in essence of what we had in store for you, content on autopilot. So we do this bi-weekly. We have this awesome team over here. Just a small attempt of just educating what is happening in the AI world and how you can leverage the most for your D2C store. Having said that, like Kruti has mentioned, questions, questions, questions. You have anything, please put it out over there. We are all yours. Now, this is your time. Any existing questions which we've not addressed? Feel free to unmute yourself, folks. The floor is all yours. Rajat, Atul, Karu. Perfect. So Rajat has a question about image to video. Vedant, do you want to take a beat, show your C-Dance workflow that you have built?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Give a context.
So for video workflows, what we've found the best to work with, and I think the workflows can be catered for very differently for different sort of products. But what sort of helped us build this is that, first of all, what my process was that I went to GPT, gave it a script, and a script which is very much like this, as you can see, a prompt where what should the opening be, what should the reveal be, what should the feature be, what is the hero frame and everything. And I asked it to create a reference collage for me. So this is how scene by scene I want the video to look. And after that, you can just add this as a reference template and add the prompt right here. Now, in between, what I've done is I've made sure that the prompt and image before going also synthesized by Gemini, so that the prompt is also enhanced before it goes to CDance. Now, CDance gets an enhanced prompt along with a reference script, a visual script. And based on that, this is what it has created. So I think the idea there is that have all your frames sort of in an image, and then have a prompt which also explains that what is all your opening scene to be, what is your second screen to be, what is the kind of animation that you want. You can go as deep into your prompt, and what are the kind of movement you want, what are the cameras that you want to shoot with, and it can just replicate the whole thing for you pretty nicely.
Superb. That's on the image to video part. Um, there's another question. It says, do you have any complex workflow that you've built? And would just love to take a look at that. Vedant, you want to show one of your magics that you've done?
Let's see if I have anything as complex here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This is something that we've done for one of the brands. We
Go ahead.
were working a bunch with sneakers. So as you can see here, I have a bunch of different angles of the same shoe. Then the first thing that I've done here is added a prompt which would first create a collage of the same. So it will create one image with all the different angles so that the next time I feed it to any uh, model, I only have to give them one image instead of giving them a reference of five different images. Then I have a bunch of input images and a prompt related to it. So I want something to be created like this. I want a reference and something to be created like this. And I have a bunch of them right here. And then we have a bunch of different outputs that would come here. So let me just run this. We've been just testing this right now. But you can see the amount of nodes we have. I think the team has gotten really deep with it. I have not really till now, but you can see the amount of nodes you have. I mean, we have barely touched the surface with prompt, input images, and everything. You have something called concat, you have something called synthesizer, where every prompt that you give is kind of synthesized with AI and then distributed to the right node. So, yes, let's wait for this to load. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about, so that the next time I send this image there, I don't have to send five images, rather just one.
And in essence, if you just set it up one time, right? So you have it has enough context. It doesn't need to do only for this particular shoe. It
Yeah,
has different angles. I can give any shoe as an input. It will take all the angles. So
yeah.
that's the best part of prompting and workflow. This is not only for one particular SKU. It's just about giving that angle. You're just prompting it. Then once you go to the dashboard, you can upload anything, right? It will give you. Fun fact is, if you can actually upload your mocha pot, it can take angles of the mocha pot and also give you an output. Doesn't necessarily have to be sneaker shoe, right? You're just prompting it over there, but having a mocha pot specific workflow is much better. But the point is, this is built to scale. That's the whole idea of what we're trying to do over here. But this is cool. Perfect. Any other questions? If not, we can actually wrap up. Atul, Divya, Mayur, Amit, Rajat, Rohit, Sandesh, Sharanya, any questions, feel free to drop in. We'll actually put down our email address over there. In case you want to get something like this built out, get something set up for your respective store, you have a calendar link on the chat. And after this email, after the workshop, you'll get an email where you would have an option to book a slot with us. Happy to set this up so that it's a new way of building your store. Great. Amit has a question. How token works here? Like token consumption, how does it work here? Is what his question is. Interesting. Vedant, do you want to take a stab?
I think when you sign up with Shop OS, we have a bunch of different plans, and based on those plans, we give you an amount of tokens. So I think image generation is much more cheaper than video generation. That takes up a bunch of more tokens. But I think you should visit the website, check out the plans, see how many tokens are there, what are the amount of generations you can do right there. I think everything is there available.
Yeah, in essence, Amit, token essentially how it works is we have abstracted multiple models over here. So you'd be consuming a Shop OS token over there. But roughly, again, it changes from use case to use case. For video, different token consumption, image token consumption. But the best part is you sign up, you get 500 credits on the house. That's good enough for you to generate a bunch of creatives and get started before you go ahead and start topping up. So 500 free credits on the house. All of you can go sign up and let us know.
And the generations are also here, and I think these are pretty wonderful generations right here.
Awesome. Great. That's been our time, folks. Thank you so much for staying for a 1 hour long conversation on a Tuesday evening. Means a lot. It's just our way of just showing you how you can leverage AI 1% better every single day. Uh, so look forward to more such sessions. Like you said, we do this bi-weekly. So keep on the lookout for an email. Thank you so much, Vedant. Thank you so much, folks at Shop OS. We chat soon.